Adam, you are under the strictest restrictions now across the country. No doubt you were listening very closely to the news conference a bit earlier with the Premier Gladys Berejiklian. What reaction did you have to the restrictions that she's outlined for the coming 3 days over the Christmas period?
Not really surprised, and yeah, you're looking at the Northern Beaches and it is a massive area. If you're not across the geography of the place, it's 40 k's from Manly to Palm Beach, so that's a big stretch. So to cut it in half is probably fair enough. Of course, we wish that we were maybe south of the bridge, but there are advantages that we've come to experience living here for the past 20 years or so, that it's not a bad place to live. And if you're going to be in quarantine, I can think of worse places to be stuck to your own quarters with a day like we've got outside today. It's 27 degrees and sunny. So it's just the way it goes. There was no real surprise from our family sitting there watching Gladys about an hour ago, and it's just the way it goes. We just have to cop it.
That's a pretty good attitude, Adam. What's been the mood among others in the Northern Beaches? Are most people remaining pretty pragmatic about the whole situation? Yeah. They know that, I think, given what has happened earlier this year, April, May, and going through that, and then obviously paying close attention to that horrible situation down in Victoria, that you understand why the New South Wales health authorities and the Premier and the people assisting her are doing what they're doing, because they want to jump on it as quickly as possible so that we're not faced with what Victoria had in the past couple of months and having 800 cases a day. And yeah, it's not ideal. It's the worst time of year to have it. Of course, I was looking forward to hosting my annual Christmas lunch, but that's off. But that's the way it goes. You just have to cop it, and we're going to have a Christmas in January and February. Look, we're speaking from personal experience, pretty lucky. Obviously, everyone listening to this who lives in different circumstances, whether it be in a unit or in a townhouse where you don't have the space, we're in a house. They might have a totally different attitude, and I feel very sorry for those people. But the way that they've done the contact tracing and the communication around that, you can't really fault, and you can understand the bigger picture if we don't want to end up in a situation where in 3 months' time we're still talking about being in lockdown. The testing turnout's been extraordinary. Some 42,000 tests were conducted across the state just yesterday. So the health authorities are really pleased with the way that people are turning out to get these tests done so that they can get a really accurate picture of where this virus is. What's the situation there where you are when it comes to those testing lines, when it comes to the local grocery stores? Are supplies still adequately stocked in the places that you've seen?
Yeah, I went to Woolworths Mona Vale yesterday, Ash, and I don't think I've seen as much toilet paper in one place as ever. It was extraordinary. They just oversupplied, I think, which is fair enough. They don't want to be bitten twice. I could still get my pasta. I could still get those essentials that were flying off the shelves in March and April. But just with the testing, we've got, I reckon, within a 1 kilometre radius of where I live, I think I've got about 3 or 4 places that I can go. And we took the safe option the other day. We went down to Warringah Rugby Park, Rat Park as they call it, at Warriewood there, and sat in the car, and it took about an hour and 45 to get from the back of the queue where we joined it to get our test done. It was simple. We had 4 kids in the car. I wasn't really looking forward to that experience, hearing the 4 and 5 hour waits, but it was really quick, really efficient. The staff were lovely. Everyone was laid back. We've got it done. We've got our test results back within 12 hours. I'm hearing places elsewhere on the Northern Beaches, there's a great variant in terms of the tests getting back. I know one person who's taken 4 days and still hasn't got a test result back, which is a bit unfortunate, but we were lucky and we chose the right place. And yeah, I can't speak highly enough of the people that were at that testing venue for how easy they made it.
And Adam, just finally, for those people who are watching who aren't as familiar with the geography of the Northern Beaches as you are, does that split in terms of the zoning make sense to you, north of the Narrabeen Bridge? Is that something that will make sense to locals there, the 2 zones that have been announced today?
Yeah, the Bahá'í Temple one's an easy one because that's in the middle of the bush. So that's the western side of the Northern Beaches, and that's the only road out to get kind of west out to St Ives, and you're going to go to the freeway to the Central Coast. That's the only way to get out there. Narrabeen Bridge, or Pelican Bridge, as some people call it, because there's guardsmen up the top of the telegraph poles there in Pelicans. That makes sense. There's a few little areas around that peninsula that maybe residents might be a bit confused about, because there's another bridge closer to the ocean, and there's the the start of Wakehurst Parkway and the people down the bottom of Elanora Heights. But if you're going to split the beaches in two, that is the place to do it in terms of not affecting as many residential areas as possible. And you totally understand it because it has been all up. The Avalon cluster is the far end of the northern beaches, and that's where it's centred on. And a lot of the contact tracing venues which are coming out each night from New South Wales Health, I'd say 75% of those seem to be places north of Narrabeen Bridge. So I can totally understand why they've done it, and hopefully it all clears up really quickly so we can all get on with our lives and coexist on this beautiful part of the world.
Fox Sports host Adam Peacock, thank you so much for giving us an insight into what you're facing there on the northern beaches. We hope you can have a Merry Christmas despite the restrictions that are in place. Thanks for your time.
Yeah, we'll find a way. Thanks, Ash.